Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Now if this is your very first time here, my name is FiddlinJonny and it's my Fiddle channel and magic product review. And before I do any magic product review, I always do a quick fiddle tune. Let's do a classic in the genre that I play a lot. This is called The Wind That Shakes the Barley. Then we'll get right into our product review. Alright, that's just clearly a snippet of a much larger tune, but Wind That Shakes the Barley, great tune. I know you're really here for the magic product review. So, I don't do a lot of cards on this channel, but I've been keeping this secret from you about the Invoked playing deck, which is released in the last year. I'm not sure a lot of folks know about it. I feel like the Magic community should know about this deck if you're not familiar with it. Man, you know, I've reviewed a lot of decks in the past, or I shouldn't say a lot, but a number of decks, especially marked decks in the past. I think you can kind of stop looking. This might be the one that I think a lot of folks are going to like for a number of reasons. But I'll get into that during the review. So stick around and we'll get right into it. All right, I want to share with you my current favorite deck of cards that I use when I'm not using my red Riderback cards. I know that's a bold statement, but this really is currently my favorite deck of cards when I'm not using my red Riderback. So, because I love this deck of cards so much, I tend to drone on. I'm going to try to keep it as precisely as possible in terms of what is it about this deck that I really like, in case that you're interested. And I'm not a big fan of magic product reviewers that sound like commercials, and I know I'm just going to sound like a commercial, so let me put a caveat on this at the beginning. I'm not paid for this. I don't make any money from this. These were not sent to me for free. I freely purchased these when they were available through Kickstarter, I think a little over a year ago. Well, I know now it's over a year ago. I've been sitting on this because I freaking love this deck of cards. Didn't want to share it with a whole bunch of people, but now's the time I'm going to let you know about it. So it's probably going to sound a little bit like you should go out and purchase it. You make those decisions for yourself, whether it's for you or not. But at the end of the day, this is a deck I really like a lot, and I'm not going to try to sound like I'm being super objective, because I like them, and I'm no longer objective about it. Plain and simple. I'm sure other folks might look and go like, oh, I hate that aspect, or it's not that good, blah, blah, blah. I'm not in that camp. All right, what is the Invoked deck of cards? This is what they came through originally. I don't know if they still come in these when I purchased it through Kickstarter. The Invoked deck of cards is put out by Magic and Cards. And it is a deck that was 6 years in development, because it is a marking system. Now, lots of decks have marking systems, but most don't have short end and long end side markings. I think currently the deck out there that epitomizes that is the Butterfly deck of cards by Andre Sinico. And his deck is beautiful and gorgeous. And it is clear Peter, the creator of the Invoked deck, is highly influenced and inspired by him, and has acknowledged that fully on the front end. So I really appreciate Peter's sharing quite openly in terms of his inspiration from the Butterfly deck, and inspired him for this deck. He's also inspired by Matthew Beesh, and I can talk about that a little bit later, and a number of other creators around routines. But that is a little bit of the history, and a great job to Magic and Cards for making sure that there's appropriate crediting and understanding the shoulders in which they stand on. I'll also add, prior to the Invoked deck, the Butterfly playing cards were my favorite deck of cards to use. Maybe my second deck of cards, and this is another deck I really liked using when I wasn't using my red rider backs. I find this one is an improvement over the butterfly deck, which pains me to say because I am a super fan of Andre Sinico and the butterfly deck. The butterfly deck, I think, still has maybe the most beautiful back design there is, unrivaled and gorgeous. It's so nice to be able to pull out and get oohs and ahs with just the beauty of that deck. So it's influenced by that. What stands out for me is because it's a marking system. It has a marking system on the back. It's a reader back. That means that it will tell you exactly the suit and the value of the card. It's kind of spelled out so you can see that on the back. It's got a one-way design on the front of the cards, which is very cleverly hidden, which gives you new possibilities. It's also got one-way back design, or I shouldn't say back design, using the side markings as well, which makes it easy to identify which card has been chosen. The side marking system and the on both this long edge and short edge allows you to identify exactly the card and the value of that card and the placement of where it is in the deck. So anytime somebody picks a card, they put it back into the deck, you'll know exactly what the card is and where it is in the stack and be able to cut to it if you want to, control it however you want to, but you know its placement. So that as a tool is super great. And the beauty of it is it's super easy. You do not have to strain to try to figure out where's it at or stare to look at what the markings are, that sort of stuff. Very easy to read. I think at the end of the day, that's why I really like this deck of cards, because it's easy and the side markings are easy or the edge markings are really easy. A difference from the butterfly deck, they are printed on the side of the cards. Whereas on this deck, it's not printed on the sides. You must bevel it a little bit. I don't find it any different or much different. I find it actually easier to read with this design of the back design on these cards. So I'll bring it up here shortly so you can see the back design of the cards itself. But I'm sort of giving you a large overview there of why I like this deck of cards so much. If you purchase this deck of cards, you're going to get a 25-minute tutorial. First 12 minutes are roughly the marking system, how it looks, how it works, that sort of thing. And then the remaining of it is teaching you routines. You're going to get 3 different routines, all very clever, from a card divination without just touching the deck and the spectator not knowing what card they chose. Another one is an A-can, a little bit more advanced. And the third one that they teach is called Money Talks. Very clever and funny one where you show the cards. Sorry, a little blip. My card for recording got full, so I'm trying to pick up from wherever I left off there. All right. And the final one is really funny to me. It is called Money Talks. And essentially, one of the nice things about this is you as the performer from about 10 feet away, maybe a little further depending on what your eyesight is. But basically 2 coins are chosen and a card is picked and shown to the coin. And that coin talks to the coin that you're holding up next to your ear as the performer, and you'll be able to know what the card is. It's great because people think that the coins are actually gimmicked and have some sort of a speaker or Bluetooth system in them. They don't, obviously. It's simply because you can read the back design. And it's a great example of being able to read it from a great distance, which I really appreciate, which goes to, you know, that as we get older, certainly I have a harder time reading a lot of markings on cards. These are super easy to read. You're also going to get a downloadable PDF that's 12 pages in length that goes over the routines and the marking system as well. If you speak different languages, it's available in English, in French, in German, Italian, or Spanish. So 5 different languages that you get this printable PDF in as well, which is really nice. Each of those languages is about 12 pages long. You're also going to get printable, downloadable guide cards, essentially, so that you can see the marking system and outlines the marking system as well. The cards themselves are printed on United States playing card stock cards, so they feel the exact same to me as a standard rider back deck of cards. They handle beautifully. They feel actually premium to me. So they've got a great feel. Magicians will love these because of the way that they handle. I actually feel like they handle better than the butterfly cards. Butterfly cards are a thicker stock, which is great. These are a little bit thinner stock, but I like these because they handle really nicely as well. So they're good quality cards is what I'm getting at there. Did I mention that they've got reveals as well? So if you like cards that have reveals on them, it's got several cards that have reveals on them. It has the, let's see. So the reveal cards. So there's a Jack of Spades that has a reveal of the Eight of Diamonds, which I think is popular in some of Daniel Madison's releases. There's the Queen of Spades, which he has permission through Daniel Madison, by the way. The Queen of Spades does a Six of Clubs reveal. King of Hearts has a Three of Hearts reveal. And there's one last reveal that's on the tuck case itself on the very bottom. You shine a light on it, look through the tuck case, and you'll be able to see the Eight of Spades through the bottom of the tuck case as it's illuminated. That is a Matthew Bish idea, and he has full permission from Matthew for that. They both independently sort of came up with that reveal. And I appreciate, again, that there's the appropriate crediting and approval from there. There's an Easter egg on the front of this deck of cards that I won't reveal because it's an Easter egg, but if you purchase these, you'll find out what through the tutorial, what the reveal is on the front of the case. Maybe some of you already know what it is, but I thought that was sort of fun as well. I could go on about the tutorial. It's a great tutorial, great teaching. The thing is that once you understand the markings, it's really up to you to come up with how you want to create your routines with this tool. I think if you're newer in Magic and you've never had marked cards, this is going to be a fine deck for you. It's going to give you way more than a standard marked deck where just the backs are marked. So you're going to get a lot more with this deck of cards. I should tell you a little bit about my own history with this deck of cards. This deck of cards, before it was available on Kickstarter, in 2023 at Magic Live, I met Peter, the creator of this deck, and we're all having drinks at the end of the day, hanging out in the bar. People are tossing around decks of cards and doing magic tricks for one another, and Peter had handed me this deck of cards, and I immediately was into using a punch that I have and punching some of the cards to be marked so that I could be able to locate cards simply by touch. And I had no idea that they were marked. And somebody had noticed that I was using a punch and had whispered to me like, you know those cards are marked, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean they're marked? I had no idea that they were marked. Totally flew by me. And I love that Peter basically is hanging out with a bunch of magicians, showing folks his deck of cards, and still fooling other magicians, not knowing that they were marked. So thanks, Peter, for handing me the deck and allowing me to destroy and start punching holes in it, even though, or little punches in them, even though there was no need to do that. So that goes to say, like, this is a deck that can really even fool magicians. I think, like, they won't notice and see the marking system on it. But most importantly, for lay people, they'll never suspect it. Important stuff there. Let's talk about what the cost is. If you do decide to purchase this, these, if I can hold on to it, $22 for a deck of cards United States cost. If you want to buy stripper decks of it, available too, those are $25. If you want to get uncut sheets, those are $40 to get those. If you're purchasing the butterfly decks, they're about $29 to $30 a deck. So these are cheaper and currently my favorite. And I hate to say that, sorry, Andre. I really love these cards. Still love the butterflies, but I find these just a little bit easier to use. All right, that's it. If you have the Invoked deck of cards, let me know. Leave a comment down below in terms of what your experience is with the Invoked deck, the things you like about it, the things that are maybe the shortcomings or could use improvements on it. Leave that down there in the comments. Yeah, or what you think about if you have butterflies and what you think about that deck as well. I'd be curious. Or you use the Delans that go way back decades ago that had side markings on them or edge markings on them as well. So I love edge marking systems, but these are really, I think, the best out there currently. So that's my experience. All right, that's it. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. What are you waiting for? It's all free to do that, and I appreciate it very much. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.